Ryan Osborne here with Denver 7. We're joined by David Farahi, Chief Operating Officer of Monarch Casino in Black Hawk, Colorado. We're talking today about sports betting in Colorado. It became legalized in May. Of course, major sports are just now starting to return. David, what have you seen running with the sports book in Monarch Casino and how it's kind of got off the ground so far?
It was an interesting start. Obviously, we didn't have any of the major U.S. leagues going when we launched in May. And so that drove people to betting on things that I think most Americans had no interest in prior to May 1st. Things like Russian table tennis, South Korean baseball. It allowed us to open the market up and make sure all the technology worked, get people used to betting through our apps, and it's been a great start, and we're looking forward to a lot more growth now that U.S. sports have started. The leagues have started, baseball, basketball, hockey, and hopefully they're able to continue.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Over the weekend, NBA, they seem to have their bubble situation figured out. It seems to be there is the interest there. At least watching on TV, it looks like you're watching, just a regular NBA game. MLB is having some issues with COVID-19, but hopefully they could continue playing their season. But with those two major sports back, what has this last weekend been? What have you already noticed an uptick in bets placed? What are you seeing in the numbers just initially?
Yeah, what's really interesting is, baseball wasn't, it's not the one of the biggest bet sports. Really, the NFL is number one. That's the biggest bet sport by far. Baseball is really, third or fourth. But with baseball being the first one to launch again, we saw a lot more bets on baseball than we're used to.
Now, I want to get into some of the numbers, the specific sports in May and June, and I think this is something that was head-turning to a lot of people. Table tennis in June, 9.1 million bets placed. This is statewide, not just with your casino, and 6 million that first month in May. And these table tennis matches, if you go and find streams of them, it looks like, it's usually Eastern European table tennis matches that are in a room that has it looks like it's just being held in like a little conference room almost. what have you seen in just the either fascination or people just looking for anything to bet on, getting that first couple legalized months of betting? Were you surprised to see table tennis be that popular, especially here?
I'll be honest with you, Ryan. I'm going to tell you something controversial. We didn't offer any table tennis bets. We
Really?
haven't any table tennis bets, and I'll tell you why. It's because
Yeah.
the outcomes of those games.
Yeah.
So if we can't offer a clean product, we're not going to offer it at all, and that's why Monarchs decided not to offer table tennis.
That's interesting because it does give that impression. It's like, I don't know, because if you sit down and watch an NBA game, that the outcome of the game is, it's going to be there in front of you, and you have that standard. You just feel like certain sports, especially table tennis, maybe in this case, it just doesn't have that stability or integrity to it, maybe.
That's certainly that's where we landed on it, and that's why we don't offer it.
What has been the most popular sport for you?
For us, it was South Korean baseball, and that's a highly regulated league. The challenge is that it's not well distributed. So there are teams that are really popular and really good, and there are other teams that are not so much. As with any league, it happens with the U.S. leagues as well. People generally bet on the favorites, and so if the favorite always wins, the house generally loses. And so that was challenging as we got into the South Korean baseball market. But kudos to those guys for getting their league open in a safe way and offering their product, and we were happy to make it available.
And just wrapping up here, anything that has surprised you over the last couple months, or maybe even heading into, with sports coming back, anything that really stands out to you that you may not have expected, or kind of either caught you off guard or surprised you in a good way?
I definitely didn't expect Russian table tennis to get the betting volume that it's getting. So I think that's been the biggest surprise. I'm not at all surprised that people are excited about sports betting, that I'm guessing they're downloading multiple apps And I don't think it's going to take long for Coloradans or Americans in general, frankly, to start price shopping. Sports betting is a market just like any other market, whether it's the NASDAQ exchange or the New York Stock Exchange. Sports betting is kind of the same, and so people are going to start shopping around and looking for the best price. And I think that people are going to be really excited with what they see at BetMonarch, because we're going to have the best prices out there.
Well, David Farahi, thank you for your time. Chief Operating Officer, Monarch Casino. It's such a interesting thing with this new industry in Colorado in the first couple months, and now sports are coming back. But thanks for your time today.
Absolutely, pleasure.